All right, and we are back with Survivor Hot Takes. It is me, Coach Drew, joined as always by Emily, and back from our from season 41. I think we did 3 episodes. We have Sarah. Sarah, welcome back.
Thanks. I'm glad to be back.
So Sarah, first question: who is your winner pick for this season?
The cat.
I know the cat makes an appearance. My winner pick is Drea. It's just something I felt in my gut preseason, and I'm gonna stick with it.
Okay.
I love that. Are you at all nervous about like the advantages that she has and how that's gonna affect her and her relationship when she gets to the merge?
A little bit, but I think she is very good about being like a quiet, confident leader.
Yeah,
and I think she will kind of blend in more so when merge comes along, because I feel like Taku's gonna be the target when merge hits, and
Very
I think
true.
she can like blend in a little more. Right now, she hasn't been able to blend in as much, but she's doing a really good job so far of just like keeping the target off of her.
Yeah, I agree. And what is your hot take on the season as of now?
So my hot take is that I think this season is much better than 41. I guess it's not really a hot take because most people feel that way.
Yeah, I think
but I think it like exceeds 41 just in the cast, and also obviously there's not a big emphasis on the advantages, and that's been a big part. But I think these players are here to play. Like, strategy is like amped up this season, and I didn't feel like we got to see a lot of that in 41, like all the strategy. So yeah, absolutely. 42 way better than 41. I guess.
No, you're so right. But well, no, I think that like, and again, like kind of going off of what you're saying, like I think that with 42, we've already become conditioned and have like wholeheartedly had to accept all of the crazy advantages they threw at us at one time, and they're just kind of throwing it whatever stuck. So we can really more focus on the characterization, and I think that's like such an important part in this season as opposed to last.
Yeah, and I would also say that I'm anxious and I'm still kind of being optimistic about the fact that, yes, just because they haven't focused a lot on advantages up to this point, that it kind of continues down that road as we get closer and closer to the merge. I'm honestly all right with how many shot in the darks have been used so far. I don't think that it's taken away with any. I don't think it's taken away from anything for the most part. I think it's added a lot of tension, suspicion, whatever, what have you, to the season up to this point. So,
yeah.
But getting into the episode, couple of things that we really just want to touch on. Number one, everyone can kind of agree that Jonathan is not meant to last much longer here, right?
I want him to, though. Like, he's so cute. He's like the sweetest little thing. I think that if anything, why are you looking at me like that? I'm right. But I think that like they're not editing him for this season. I think that they're editing him in a way where he'll come back for another season. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah. He's too pure for this world, and I just think that honestly, like he's such a unique he's such a unique cast member, especially because everyone else that they've casted like isn't we talked about that, like isn't like the biggest like physical threats. He really stands out in a game where he would already stand out anyways, but I do think that he's going to be either the immediate threat at merge or his tribe, like Taku's going to recognize like, hey, like this dude's gotta, like, we're getting close to merge. We got to get rid of him next. So that's where I'm at. What do you think, Sarah?
Yeah, I think he's easily going to be a fan favorite. I think he'll return on some kind of like maybe a fans versus favorite season. I would love to see a third season. But I think that comment he made last episode about the Type 4, I think that comment is set up to carry into merge because there was a big emphasis on that comment. So I really think Taku's going to make merge with the 4 of them. And then at merge, they'll immediately be target. I could see green and blue teaming up to target orange because they do see Jonathan as a big threat. And, you know, if they think that the orange tribe is so tight as a 4, I think they're just going to target them, you know?
Yeah.
So I think it's leading up to Jonathan being an early merge boot, unfortunately. Right. Unless someone decides, hey, this guy's a shield, and if I get close to him, you know, he'll keep winning challenges to where the people that I want gone will get gone if he wins the challenges over them, kind of thing.
No, that makes sense. I think that, like, I feel very similarly to you, Sarah, like that it's like that comment that he mentioned that close-knit force is something that's going to be a huge catalyst. But I think for me, I took it more as like it being a catalyst and a break or a crack in him and Marianne's relationship, because they've been building up on that for like 2 or 3 episodes now, like just like little altercations. So I think that it's going to relate in like in one person, it's going to result rather in like one person of the 2 being like a fracture of the tribe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I would say that overall, yes, Jonathan's cool. I like him. He's whatever.
We love him.
He's fine.
We love him.
I enjoy him. I enjoy him. He seems very wholesome, and I love the fact that he has been so dominant in these tribe challenges. I will say that in this episode, it became very apparent that in my opinion, what's going to happen is, yes, they'll probably merge with the 4 of them. At which time, hopefully, Marianne has an idol that can be activated, or that is activated. And what I see happening is the other 2 tribes, yes, banding together to go after the 4 of them, and Jonathan is the decoy, and they take out Omer or Lindsay.
No, we're protecting Lindsay with our lives.
Right. From there, I do think that there'll be like a little mini side quest where Jonathan is like out on a redemption tour and gets taken out at like 8 or 7. So early to mid merge boot. But yeah, he's getting a lot of content now, and the fact that they threw in the fact that he said, "Oh yeah, we're a tight 4, can't break us up," this, that, and the other. It's like, oh no, you didn't just say that. You didn't, absolutely. And everyone brought it up to you afterwards. So,
yeah, and even like Tori,
the blonde girl called me Goliath.
Yeah. Well, and Tori is so smart to already start putting a target on his back before even the merge. Like, that's not something that we see with a lot of players, like going after each other on different tribes, specifically targeting one person.
Except for if you're Rupert and here's his
but like whatever. But like, I really do think that, like, I mean, Tori's really built a bigger name for herself in ways that a lot of people don't recognize, you know? And I think that, like, that in itself is really going to, I think that the Jonathan's going to be the first one taken out. Like, toast.
Sarah, opinions on Tori?
Yeah, so Tori is someone who I think actually has a lot of life left in the game. Mm-hmm. I think we have seen that she's been on the bottom. She's fought her way to get the target onto someone else. She'll do whatever the hell she wants to get the target on someone else. Like, she doesn't care. And if she already is, you know, playing that way pre-merge, like, I could see her continuing to play that way into merge and, absolutely, you know, just constantly finding other people to put the target on. So
yeah. And that's the best thing about her gameplay, is that she is never someone who is trying to aim to be at the top. She's always just trying to aim herself to be one rung above the bottom. And that in itself is a brilliant strategy.
Yeah. So I think she's been underestimated. I think a lot of people have, you know, given her a little bit of hate, but she's underestimated. I think she's got longer left in the game than I originally thought she would.
Yeah. So I'm not a Tori fan. Not a Tori fan, but I agree with you. I do think that she'll be around for a long while. I think she'll be around longer. I can't wait to say this, and then she like goes home next week or something. But I think she will be around longer than Jonathan. I don't really see her winning. I do, but I do see her going, late game, like in the end game almost, because like you guys both said, she's been able to maneuver around the game. She does have the strategy of not coming off as someone that's over analyzing people, even though her confessionals are all about her analyzing people.
Right. And like the way that she manipulates tribal council, that in itself, I mean, I'm not like Tori isn't even in my top 5 for winner picks, but I do definitely think that she has that capability to be able to manipulate even just like how comments are shifted in tribal councils. And that is like more than half the battle, in my opinion.
She's a great speaker. She is a very, like, me not being a fan of Tori is like, that's just end game. You have to not like someone, and she just happens to be the person. But like, I still respect her game. I still think that I think that if she somehow did win, I would understand it, and I get it, and I would not go online and say, "Oh man, this is bullshit," because I would understand that she has done. She's already shown glimpses of knowing how to do this. And so let's get to a very. Emily called it filler before we went live, and I would say this is kind of close to Survivor filler, but it was fun filler. So, Sarah, what did you think about the losing tribe? Who did you think was going home after they lost, and were you surprised by who eventually went home?
So, I thought either Roxroy or Swati were going to go home just based on the dynamics of the tribe. And I felt in my gut that like Swati didn't have a lot of longevity in the game because I don't know, like she wasn't confident in her strategy. She kind of like was just trying to fit in as much as she could. And I didn't feel like she was, being genuine in her strategy. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I expected her to go or Roxroy. So those were my two. I didn't think Romeo, obviously.
Yeah, Romeo's not going anywhere.
Romeo is solid.
Yeah, he's solid. And then I knew that Drea and Tori are very savvy players that they could make sure the target wasn't on them. So it was between them two.
Why do you think they chose at the end of the day Swati? I mean, I know that we get like a 1-hour edit of like just like a compilation of little events, but if we look at Roxroy versus what Roxroy has versus what Swati has, Roxroy has a lot more physical capability and they're getting close to merge. So honestly, they could maybe handle another like, another challenge or whatever. And he's not very socially involved. So why do you think they went with Swati instead? Just because she kept calling everyone her number one? Or do you think it was deeper than that?
I think they knew that they could count on Roxroy as a number. I think Drea and Romeo are smart players, and especially going into merge, I think they know Roxroy's not going to go and, align with all these new players. Like, he seems to be an old school player. I think he's going to stick with the people that he knows. So I think they're smart to know, like, hey, like, he's going to be a number for us, and, we'll be solid at merge. Yeah. What do you think?
I think Roxroy's going to be in the end game.
What?
I think Roxroy's going to be in the end game.
That's a hot take.
Yeah.
That is the hottest take that I've ever seen. Burning.
Once again, I can't wait to go back and watch this and be like, wow, what a moron.
Why do you feel that way?
He wouldn't get such a negative edit.
Yeah, he's getting a negative edit so that when he sits at the end, he'll be like, oh, yeah, I can't believe he lost. And it's like, yeah, how can you not believe that he lost? That's all we've been getting is just people saying how much they don't enjoy Roxroy. And, like, he seems fine. He seems like a lovable person in real life. But, yeah, in the game, yes, he's not. I think he was the only person on the tribe that didn't know about Drea's extra vote.
Yeah.
Is that true?
He's the only one. Yeah, and he was the only one in the out with this recent vote. So, I mean, he knows that he's on the bottom at this point, just in terms of social and strategy, which is like 2/3 of the battle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not rooting for Roxroy. I guess I should say that. I'm not rooting for him or anything. I'm just, as the weeks keep going and everyone, like, they always throw in something about how people don't like Roxroy. And
okay, Kim's last comment. Kim's last comment killed me. Sorry.
Well, but I agree with that. I do agree with the comment. Yeah, Roxroy is not the best socially, but I think that will kind of help his game as they move forward. Only because people won't go after him because he'll almost be like Fabio. I know Fabio won, so that's but he'll always be like Fabio, where it's like, oh, let's just keep him out of this, and like, oh, we'll deal with that another time. And all of a sudden, Roxroy sitting at Final Five. It's like, well, how the hell did this happen? So that's my I know that it is a hot take, I guess, but
let's say that that Ika goes back to Tribal next week or this week, I guess. So all we have now in Ika is Drea, Tori, Roxroy, and Romeo. Those are our 4. Who would be next?
Roxroy.
Roxroy.
It would be Roxroy.
And I'm gonna call it right here, right now, live. You're all y'all are seeing it. I have a theory, and I've been ingraining this for the last 4 days. I am convinced that there's gonna be a double elimination this week. Convinced. Here's why. Okay. There are 13 people left, which means a double elimination right before they get to the 11 would be a perfect number for merge. 1, 2. All the previews, they didn't directly focus on any one tribe, which was very much unlike what they were doing up to this point. And I really think this would be the perfect time to try to help to level the playing field right before they all went back in. What's everyone's thoughts? Do we all agree with me? Because I vote yes.
That's an interesting take. I did not think about it being a double. It's
going to be a double.
That Green was going to go to tribal, and we were going to merge with 444. I don't know. Has the hourglass been like confirmed or not confirmed at all?
No, we had some comments. Yeah, we have some comments of people who are thinking that it's going to be back. If it happens, everyone will be very depressed, and I feel like Survivor will get canceled immediately.
Right. I think, and I think they might have it or something like it because it was filmed right after 41. But like, if that's the case, I do see them merging at 12. So a double would be way more exciting, but I think it would be like just merge at 12.
That's a good point. What did they have last time? Did you say that they had 12 last time, or that they had? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. That makes sense. I mean, and if they're trying to mimic the exact game they had in 41, that would make the most sense, be the most logical.
Oh God, they're gonna bring back the hourglass. They're gonna
bring back the hourglass. Everyone will do it. And they're going to go right to commercial right before Jeff asks.
I would say, honestly, if they bring back the hourglass, hopefully they are smart enough to realize that they don't have to wait a week for us to figure out that what everyone knows, that whoever gets it is going to break the hourglass.
Yeah.
Hopefully they just do it, it happens, and then they just move right along with the episode. I think that would make if they do use that twist, that would make that episode a lot better, and it would be make the hourglass twist a lot easier to swallow if it's not played for as a cliffhanger that everyone knows the outcome for.
But I do think that if this does come back, and if it'll probably come back next week or this week, one of the two. But if it does, it'll be the last freaking time that we ever see that godforsaken thing on this.
Please. I think that of the issues that people had with 41, the one that I have agreed with the most is the hourglass. Or just how
I don't know anyone who liked it. Which is really rare, typically with advantages.
There's at least one person that's like, well, this is why it's actually good. It's like, well, you're wrong, but I haven't heard anyone
one person that's like, Erica is the best winner ever because she used the hourglass twist.
That wasn't anything. Yeah, that wasn't anything that changed her trajectory, really. I mean, except for maybe it gave her a little bit more grit and made her feel more confident in her gameplay because she had an advantage. Maybe I could see some sort of argument coming up that way, but I don't think that was her defining moment as the winner.
Yeah, that's a weird hill to die on. I'm so thankful I haven't met that person yet or those people.
I want to be one person who can convince me that was a good choice.
And then I'll just sit there and say, oh, the Medallion of Power is actually a lot better. And it's not, but it's a lot better. There was one more thing that I wanted to touch on.
Well, we have to talk about SWAT. Yeah.
Okay, so obviously what we see is it looks like, and that's one thing I have really liked about 41 and 42 are the flashbacks. Nasir's flashback when he activated the idol in 41 was my favorite moment of the season. And in this one, it's not necessarily my favorite moment, but it's like it was fun watching. Oh yeah, she said that I was her number one. Flashback to that. Oh, Drea. Flashback. Drea's facial expressions are the best all season so far. Flashback to Tori, and I don't know if they did one with Rock. No, they said she's probably up in Rock Troy right now, saying that he's her number one. Yeah. And I think obviously I think that that's ultimately what screwed her in the end. But I do think, going back to what we've been talking about for a lot of the episode, I do think that a lot of that has to do with Tori as well. The fact that Tori was able to talk herself out of a situation where most of the episode, it looks like if they go to Tribal, this time for sure she has to go home. And by the time we get to Tribal, it's like, wow, there's a very big chance that Tori's staying again. Every time the Shot in the Dark is played, I think this is gonna be the time that it actually happens. And I think whenever that does happen, the internet's gonna explode because it finally happened. Yeah. I'm just hoping it happens in a moment where like a Wentworth does not count type situation.
Yeah.
Where all of the
I think it's going to happen. I think it'll definitely happen this season. I think especially just because everyone has been so gung-ho about utilizing it. Literally 3 out of the 3 times that people have used it, they've gone home, and that really shows like how much people are throwing at the wall, hoping that that something will come back to them. So I think that we're definitely going to get a successful shot in the dark this season. Does anyone else think that or no?
So I don't think it's going to happen just because I think at Merge, people are not going to want to play it as much because on a smaller tribe, where the votes are going. Like, it's a little easier to tell because most people just go on a majority in a smaller tribe because you don't want to be a minority in a smaller tribe. But at Merge, the numbers are so different. Like, you have a better shot at keeping your vote with numbers at Merge than you would on a smaller tribe. So, I mean, I would hope that it would get played successfully, but I think people are going to want their vote more at Merge. And the players who make it to Merge are going to be like really savvy players who will realize that their vote is more important than a 1 in 6 chance, unless like everyone just goes on them. But that's pretty rare at Merge,
Yeah. I wonder like how the advantages and now that hopefully these 3 immunity idols are going to be active in the next couple episodes. Like, I wonder how they're going to impact the motivation that people are going to have to want to play the Shot in the Dark, being like, oh, well, I know that a few are going to Mike, but what if Mike doesn't play his idol? And I know that some are going to come to me. Like, maybe I should play the Shot in the Dark, or maybe I should hold off. Like, I think that's going to blend in a completely new variant into the game. I'm excited. Y'all, I'm hyped.
Okay.
Can we talk about Potato Gate for a minute?
Yes. I wanted to know.
What?
Potato Gate. Yes, Potato Gate. Sarah, you explain.
Yeah, so everyone's talking about Potato Gate. Like, Tori's potato freeze was in the preseason, clips or whatever. But everyone is starting to realize that they show her face and they show the Beware advantage, and everyone thought it was Tori reading the potato phrase, but I think it's voiced over, and I think it's Mary Ann's voice. Like, you'll have to listen to it, but there's a whole thing. Like, why would the producers editors put that in the preseason when Tori's been someone who could go at either tribal?
That's a good point.
It's like spoiling it away,
Yeah. Oh no, that's a good point. Cause I'm everyone I know is so annoyed that they use that piece, making it look like she read it. And I never thought about the fact that they might be also blindsiding us. Wow. Is this the game within a game? Is this it? Ooh. Or there was another theory. I talk to Kim about this all the time. Hey Kim, love you. They also talk about how maybe she's reading it after someone else got it, and now she's reading the advantage. So something kind of similar to a Mike and Danny situation. So I'm thinking maybe that could also be a possibility. I don't know. She's gonna find it this week though, right? There's no freaking way they're gonna wait another week. This has to be it.
You would hope so. Oh yeah, and that's the problem is like Sarah said, it totally removes people that are reading a lot into it. It totally removes the tension when it's like, oh well, it can't be her that goes home because we haven't seen this clip yet. And like I do honestly hope that it does happen soon so that people can leave it alone.
Yeah,
But I am now invested in Potato Gate. I am now very much invested in Potato Gate. I wish I wasn't, but
I didn't know they called it Potato Gate. That is so funny.
the internet is a wild place.
Sure.
So before we bounce, I want to do, because Sarah's here, a power ranking of our 5 people that we think are in the, not necessarily going to win, 5 people that we think are in the best spot going into not only next week, but like the upcoming weeks.
Yeah. Who has the best winners at it so far?
Sure, yeah, we'll go with that. Ellie can go first. We'll do 5 to 1.
I circled them. I don't have them in a specific order, but I'm going to try my best off the fly. Okay, so I think that Lindsay has a good one. That might be a little bit controversial, but I think it's because she's a very similar edit right now to Erica, being in a tribe that tends to be winning a little bit, but can also find a way to stay underneath the numbers and still like have those good relationships. So she's one of them. Obviously, High. I'm praying to God Mike is going to start doing better. They kind of painted him in a bad light in that one episode, but it looks like he's now kind of reharnessing his power with the Beware advantage. Drea, I think if she plays, Sarah, like you said, like if she plays her advantages right and finds a way to kind of continue to keep herself under the radar, she is a really good shot. And also Romeo, because for a very similar reason with Lindsay, he's like, even just in the midst of chaos, he's like cool as a cucumber, living for it.
Sarah?
Good picks.
Thank you.
Similar. So I have Drea as my winner pick. So I'm going to put her at the top. And then I would also say High. High proved to be an extremely great player. So I think he's going to go like final 6 or 5, but I think he's going to go really far. I also agree with Romeo. Romeo's up there. He's in a great position. He's very likable. I think his social game is going to be one of the best that we've seen all season. Mm-hmm. And then my other 2 would be Omar. Omar is someone who is a little bit of a hot take, but I think
that's a good one
because we've seen him in this duo position with Jonathan. I think that duo is going to split at some point because they have emphasized that duo so much. And I think when Omar realizes how much of a threat Jonathan is, like, I think he's either going to think, okay, I need to keep him around as a shield for a little bit, or I need to like cut him off because everyone's going to like, associate me with him. So I think Omar actually will do very well. And we've seen the cross-tribal communications that he's had. And then I think Chanel is a great player too. So
that's good. Do you think that she'll be able to get out of the position that she's in right now? That's my only concern why I didn't pick her.
Yeah, I think she will. I think my prediction is that Green goes to tribal and Daniel will go before merge. And then
I freaking hope so. I'm annoyed by him.
Yeah.
You know what annoys me about him more than anything in this world is that he was in literally the best position, like out of anyone. And in one clean sweep, he just ruined the whole thing. Like, and I've never seen someone like fall that quickly. I don't think like to my, it was just so fast. And then it just like kept getting worse. Like he came back from tribal and it kept admitting that he was a liar and that Mike wasn't actually his number 1, 2 Mike. Like, couldn't you just be like, hey, it's a game,
That was
like
bad.
The whole time I'm sweating for him. I'm like, bad. Oh my God, like enjoy your time on the show because you aren't going to get much more of it. That's
right.
Yeah.
Daniel wins confirmed. So my 5 to 1, everyone that y'all have named, there's no new names on my list. I have High, Romeo, Lindsay, Omar, and then my winner pick is Chanel. I think that I potentially would have Drea in there instead of maybe Omar, but I could flip-flop either one of those. Yeah. I've loved this season. I love this season. I'll just say it. I love this season, and especially because there are so many people that we can look at and say, oh, that person could definitely win. Like right now we have, I would say of 13, 8, 9 people that could potentially win. I know it's early.
Yeah.
I know it's early, but like I know that we've between the three of us, we named, I believe, 9 different people. So
can I ask one more question, like from you guys? I'm gonna maybe ask the opposite question. The first time that I came on here, Andrew, you asked me a question and I was so wrong. Out of everyone, if you had to pick one person right now that you think has no shot at winning, who do you think it would be?
Roxroy.
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 We all think it's Roxroy.
Yeah, I think it's Roxroy.
Yeah, I think it's Roxroy too. I mean, maybe I think that Tori will make it far. I don't think she's gonna win just because of her edit, but I think that maybe that, and I hope that Liddy just comes out guns a-blazing. Like if she somehow finds a way to make it work and win, I will be ecstatic.
Yeah, I think she honestly, I could see her beat in final 3 and coming in 3rd. That's my prediction.
Yeah, I would love to see her as long as humanly possible.
Yeah. I think she's got a lot of life in the game. I think like what you just said about this being such a great season, I think what makes it such a great season is that we have so many people to root for. We didn't really get that in 41. Like we had Shan and Ricard going into merge to like really root for. So like we feel so connected to these players already, and like we really are rooting for like a majority of them. And it sucks to see them go because we're like, damn, like I really like that player.
Yeah, and that's that's the hard part about these upcoming episodes is I've looked at the cast and I like I don't see anyone that's like, okay, it's very obvious that this person's going before the merge. I think the only person would probably be Daniel, but I do think that if Daniel makes it to the merge, I'll flip on him and want to see more of him because of the neurotic character that he is.
I'm excited to see him. Yeah,
I would love to see him at the merge, but I don't think he'll make it. Once again, could be wrong, but but I think that is everything. We went 32 minutes, so that's 10 more minutes than I thought we would.
Good job, guys. Look at us chatting in the night.
For a filler episode. And so I'm excited for the rest of the season, obviously. I haven't been bored with it yet. And, that's something that I can't necessarily say about 41. There were only about 3 or 4 episodes that I really enjoyed from that season. So I've enjoyed everyone so far. I would say that episode 4 is probably my least favorite, but that's not saying much because I love it. Sarah, thank you so much for coming back as always. We'll definitely have you back post-merge. I think that's everything. I'm pretty sure that's everything. I don't know what that brain fart was, but thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see y'all on the other side.